Good evening, everyone. Thanks to Natural for hosting the event, and thanks to all of you for being here. Earlier today, I asked for a beer, and the barman gave it to me before asking for the money. I wonder why I paid, as I already had what I asked for. Probably because the barman was just in front of me, and because I wanted to avoid a potential conflict. In all cases, he trusted me to honor my debt. But if he was not just in front of me, and if it was not just a beer but something a lot more valuable, what would have happened? In this case, he would have probably required a trusted third party, PayPal, Amazon, eBay. In the best case, they take a fee. In the worst case, they are not fair and they take a fee. Since the dawn of time, the need for trust has always been a potential issue in all the commercial transactions. From now on, it's not anymore the case. Thanks to the blockchain technology, we integrated the mutual assured destruction theory in the e-commerce. I am Guillaume Ben Ayoun, and I am going to present you Particl. This is the Particl blockchain. We have our own blockchain. It's based on the Bitcoin code base. We are compatible with Ledger. We have the atomic swap, even if it's not in the GUI yet, it will be in 2020. We have secrets. We are compatible with the Lightning Network, which is already on testnet. It's a full proof of stake network, which means that the interests are over the inflation rate because all the network is not staking. We invented the cold staking. It means that you can delegate your staking power to a node or to a pool, which is going to stake your capital, but without owning it, and you can keep it offline and secure. We integrated confidential transaction and ring signature on top of the Bitcoin code base. It's the same privacy tags than Monero, and bulletproof safety, which reduces fees correlated with ring signature. It's also a platform for the apps, and the marketplace is the third one. About the privacy, this is a standard transaction. You can see the address of Alice, the address of Bob, and the amount sent from Alice to Bob. Then you have the confidential transaction. With a confidential transaction, you can see the address of Alice, you can see the address of Bob, but you cannot see the amount sent. And you have the ring signature transaction. With a ring signature transaction, you cannot see the amount sent, you cannot see the sender, and the address of the receiver. The Paticl Marketplace uses the SMSG network. It's a variant of bit message. It means that if you want to send a message, you are broadcasting your message to all the network, and only the receiver of this message can read the message. And this is the most important part. This is the stuff that you need to understand. It's the mutual assured destruction escrow. So, for example, if you want to buy something, an item worth X, so X is the price of an item. If you are the buyer, you need to put 2 times the price of the item in the smart contract. The seller needs to put 1 time the price of the item in the smart contract. Afterward, the seller sends the item to the buyer. The buyer releases the smart contract, get back 50% of his deposit, and the seller get back his deposit and 50% of the buyer deposit. Do you have a question about this? Because
Yeah, give me an example.
yes, let's say that
Your laptop, I want to buy it.
yes. So this laptop is let's say worth $100. You are the buyer, I am the seller. I am going to put one. Okay. I am going to put $100 in the smart contract. You are going to put $200 in the smart contract. There are $300 in the smart contract. I send you the computer. When you have the computer, you release the smart contract and get back $100 and during the same block I will receive $200 from the smart contract.
And what happens if the buyer doesn't tell whoever's holding the mutually assured destruction deposit?
The mutual assured destruction.
Right. So the buyer tells that person that they didn't receive the laptop.
Alors, this is not a person. It's a mutual assured destruction escrow. It's a multi-sig address between the buyer and the seller.
And so no money actually goes there.
Yes, it does not represent human.
Right. Okay, but there's 300 of something.
$300.
There's $300 there. The buyer's put in 2 times and you put in once. You've put in once to guarantee that you're actually going to give the buyer the computer, yeah?
Yes.
But what if he says he didn't receive the computer? Because how does the contract know whether or not the buyer receives the computer?
Only the buyer can release the contract. So when they're happy and they've got the laptop, they click a button, they get their money
What
back.
if they say they're not happy?
Well, then they've lost $200.
Yes.
Oh, right, okay, they've lost their $200. Yeah, of course. Because they paid in beforehand, yeah.
It also acts as an incentive for the buyer and the seller to communicate to resolve things.
Yeah, better than eBay.
Well, there's no middleman.
So we are going to do all the pay flow of the marketplace with a specific example. So first of all, the seller lists an item. So this is a working project on mainnet. You can download it on Particl.io. So this is the sell tab, and let's say that I want to sell an item, an iPhone for 1 part. Here I can choose during how much time I want to I want it to be listed, and the fees are dependent of the time during which it will be listed. After you publish it, it will be visible in the listing tab. But as you can see just here, there is no part in the unknown balance because you need to first anonymize your coins before being able to accept a bid. And this is how you anonymize your coins. So in this example, I have 2 parts in the public balance, 0 parts in the unknown balance. And if someone wants to buy my iPhone, and at this moment, if I want to accept this bid, I will need to be able to put 1 time the price of the item in the smart contract, and these funds have to come from the unknown balance. It's why we are going to convert some part from the public balance to the unknown balance.
It will clear itself. You can't do
Okay.
anything about that. Sorry.
Here you cannot see, but I send 1.5 parts from the public balance to the unknown balance.
So is there any stage where the coins are all held together so that they can be mixed? You know, during this process, that the coins go to this place where one person sent 2 and one person sent 1. But if they went to this like virtual repository, then you could mix all the coins, couldn't you? Which would give you further anonymity.
So you're talking about mixed systems,
Yeah.
which Particl doesn't have on its network. That would be something like Dash.
Right.
With this, it blinds the amount and then it also blinds the users.
Quick
It's
question.
different
The
features.
So it gives an anonymity by a different method, but it could
Yeah.
actually use both methods. If the money is actually all held at some point in escrow, it could be mixed.
So the coins are fungible, and if you put 2 lots of 100 in to a contract, there's 300 sitting in that contract. But the contract stipulates that only the buyer can release it, and the buyer will receive 1 lot of coins back, 100 back, and then 200
But if
gets to
they're
the
held in escrow in some virtual repository, and there's other coins in escrow, and those coins have got digital identities, but you want to anonymise them, why
So
can't you mix them while they're
You
in
can't, because all the
escrow?
contracts are separate, and each contract has the coins allocated to it.
So, because then the contract holder wouldn't know it was your coin that paid the contract.
So only
off.
you can see the contract and what's inside it, the buyer and the seller. There will be other contracts on the network that you can see there's a contract there, but you don't know what's in it and who it's with.
All these parts are not subject to change during the period. So, for example, if you're buying a phone and the price of a part changed, or is the part on the website?
Everything is paid for in part, so there's often the blockchain's perspective, there's no change in the transaction. One part is one part, it just sits there in the
But
transaction.
for example, if you spend 200 part and then the price drastically changed, would that not affect how much the part is then worth?
Yeah, but you've already sold the item at that point.
So it's sort of like a
Yeah.
gamble in that sense.
Well, yeah, you are locked to the Particl network, so to speak. Anyway, sorry, but
Sorry.
Good.
Yes, so I was sending 1.5 parts from the public balance to the unknown balance, and this is what happened on the Block Explorer. As you can see, the amounts are blended, and 12 blocks later, it matures, and your unknown balance is deposited with 1.5 parts that you can find here on the listing page. So you can follow all your order if you are the seller on the sell tab, and then if you go on listing. Second step, the buyer bids on the item. So the buyer will need to follow the same process and to anonymize some coins from the public balance to the unknown balance. In this case, I send all the public balance in the unknown one. As you can see, the amounts received on this address are blended. And here the buyer is on the listing page. He finds the iPhone, he clicks on it. On the second tab, he can see exactly how much he will need to put in the smart contract. So the price of the item is 1 part, so we need to put 2 parts in the smart contract. If in this case there is no shipping price, but if I had set shipping price, it will have been added to the price of the item, and it will then go to the smart contract. Here you have the question and answer section. It also uses the SMSG network, and so you can send some message, and here you can create a trade. At this moment, the buyer has put the item in his cart, and he has 5 parts in his unknown balance. This is the first step. And the second one, you enter all your information that you are going to send using the SMSG network, and only the seller will be able to have access to this information that you are going to broadcast on the network. And here you place the order. And what happened in the blockchain? At this moment, if you remember, you already have anonymized some coins in your unknown balance, and now you bid on an item using your anonymized coin. So on the block explorer, you cannot see from which address these coins are coming, and these funds are not directly going to the Mades cross-mark contracts. These funds are going to your bin balance to be soft locked, and afterward, if the seller accepts the bid and also soft lock his coins, at this moment you will be able to allow him to create the smart contract. But currently you are just soft locking your coins from your unknown balance to your bin balance, and notify the seller that you are interested to buy his item. And as we can see, the coins are sent from the unknown balance to the bin balance. At this moment, the seller accepts the bid. So here you have the notification on the sell tab.
I presume there is no limit to the pricing of said items, so you could have very high listings for expensive items.
Someone put a Tesla car up there. Didn't
So,
sell it,
for example, if I was to put up a Bugatti that's worth several million, would the buyer not then have to have double the price of that in order
Yes.
to buy it? Does that not then cause potential issues because you're asking the buyer to have double the asking price?
If you can afford to buy one, you can afford to buy 2 up.
But yeah, again, I guess it's.
There's only 10 million coins on the network, and there's only 9 million, and they're only $1 each at the moment. So there is a hard limit to the value of an item to
Okay,
sell on that.
but in terms of like future,
Currently, you are totally right to say that, but just after I am going to speak about the storefront and the fact that you can fix different ratio for the double deposit, considering the reputation of the seller, and it will be at this moment a lot more flexible.
okay.
So at this moment, the seller accepts the bid, and like the buyer, he's going to anonymize from his unknown balance to his bin balance. He's going to soft lock one time the price of the item. And here you can see that that his coins are coming from his Anon balance to his bin balance. Now the buyer allows the seller to create the smart contract. So let's summarize the current situation. The seller has soft locked two parts the buyer has soft locked two parts in his bin balance. The seller has soft locked one part in his bin balance, and now the buyer is going to allow the multi-sig transaction to be created using his soft lock funds and the soft lock funds of the seller. So here he has the notification, and he can click on make the payments. Here he can enter his email address and his telephone number. And when he's going to click on confirm and buy, he's going to allow the buyer to create the Madescrow smart contract. Okay. So at this moment, the buyer has soft locked two parts, the seller has soft locked one part, and the buyer just allowed the seller to create the smart contract using the two parts of the buyer and the one part of the seller. And this is exactly what he's going to do. So this is the multi-sig address, which begins with an R, and one of these addresses are at the buyer, and the other one is at the seller. And three parts are going to this address. I know that because I saw the desktop of the buyer and the desktop of the seller, but if you see this transaction on the Block Explorer, you just see this and nothing else, thanks to CT and ring signature. And now there are three parts in the smart contract. At this moment, the coins are not anymore in the wallet of the buyer and of the seller. Now the seller is sending a message to the buyer using the SMSG network. It can be a tracking number if you send an item, for example. Now I just enjoy your iPhone. And here you can see the line corresponding with the creation of the Madescrow. And finally, the seller has sent the iPhone to the buyer receives it, and now he can release the smart contract. At this moment, there are three parts in the smart contract. And now you can see order complete. What happened on the blockchain? You can see the same multi-sig address and two different addresses. One is at the buyer and the other is at the seller. Here I am on the buyer interface, and just when he has released the smart contract, he has received 50% back of his original deposit. If you remember, he deposited 2 parts in the smart contract, and now he just received 1 part from the 2 parts he deposited. And guess what happened on the seller side? He just has received the 2 remaining parts. Now I'm going to speak about the decentralized governance. So on this marketplace, the governance is totally decentralized. It means that the more coins you have, the more power you have on the network. So here you have the report button. And if you click on it, this listing disappears from your own interface, but it stays visible for all the other users. Nevertheless, if you go on this button, you will see all the reported items, and you will be able to vote to keep it or to remove it.
That's cool. You know how to find what you're looking for then. It's just go to the report, guys.
Is this actually for sale tonight?
That one keeps going round and round on the marketplace at the moment, yeah.
So, as I said, the governance is totally decentralized, and the community can vote about what is allowed or not. And if you have this kind of listing on the marketplace, you can vote to keep it or to remove it. And as we are really consensus community, this is going to be removed.
A quick question on that. During that text, it said that based upon how much Particl you have in your account is based upon the influence you have on removing that item. Is that correct? So the people containing more Particl in their account have a higher weighting to removing items?
Yes, it's based on the coin weight. So the first one listing is reported. It goes to the reported section, and afterward all the users can vote to keep it on or to remove it. And if a certain number of coin and a certain percentage is involved to remove this listing, it will be removed for everybody.
So it's not just based upon the Particl amount, it's also based upon the user amount of interaction with it. So for example, if someone with an extreme amount of Particl came in and reported it, it wouldn't just get instantly taken down, it's also based upon the...
Currently, as it's beta version, if you have more than 9,000 parts, it's instantly removed. But the governance system will be adjusted, and this threshold of 9,000 parts can be adjusted.
So if I've got a lot of tons of cocaine to move, I need to make sure I've got a lot more than 9,000 parts holding, because otherwise they can be...
27,000.
Okay.
So it.
I just have to
will
make
be,
sure I'm holding more parts than everyone else on the network if I want to move tons of cocaine.
Just call me.
So we are currently integrating the Bitcoin. It uses bots. So first of all, you need to add the bot, and then you go to the exchange section. So this is not on mainnet yet, but it should be on mainnet before the end of the month. So let's say that you want 100 parts. Just to have to enter what you want, and then the client is going to ask you to send the corresponding BTC to an address, and then the bot is going to send you back the coin to your particular address. I'm now going to speak about the storefronts. So there are some private markets which are only known by the ones which have the private key of this marketplace. I mean the public key of this marketplace, it's the storefronts. And if you have the private key of the storefronts, you will be able to list an item on the storefronts. On the other side, you have also the community market, which are other kind of markets which are accessible by everyone, but it's not the main one. So this is an example of storefronts. This is not on mainnet yet, but it should be on mainnet before the end of the year. So this is the public key of the storefronts. If you have it, you can find this market and you can buy on this market. And this is the admin key, the private key of this storefront. And if you have this private key, you can list an item on this marketplace. And even the storefronts, if you have the public key of storefront or of market, you can report a specific private marketplace or to say it's legit. You can even promote your market. So let's say that you create storefronts and you want to have more customers. You can promote it, and it will be more visible for the user, which will be able to join this marketplace. So this is a coin staking pool that I made. Coin staking pool is useful if, for example, you have less than 5,000 Particl, because it allows you to have stacking rewards more frequently, because stacking reward is about 1 part. So if you have not a lot of parts, you will need to wait a lot of time to get that block reward. And it probably won't be worth the electricity cost of your Raspberry or to your VPS, etc. So this pool is totally free, but it takes 2.5% of the block reward, and it sends automatically the reward every 700 blocks to the stackers. And you can combine this with a ledger. It means that you can have all your coins on your ledger, keep your ledger offline, and delegate the stacking power of your capital to this pool and get your rewards. And I also made this script for the private code stacking. You can have access to it here. For that you need to be on Linux and to have Raspberry or to run VPS, and it will allow you to automatically anonymize your stacking rewards and to send them to another address, which can be on your public, blind, or private balance. So, do you have any question? Yes?
How many people are you?
You mean in the team?
In the team, yeah.
120.
About 20. And your English and French also from the list. There's two different offices. Or?
No, we are everywhere in the world. I am in France, some are in South Africa. The foundation is in Switzerland. Voilà.
How about who's your for this presentation? Who's the target audience?
You?
Well, I'm too small. How about
I wanted to present the buy flow and to explain to everyone that this is a working product, and because during several years in the space we saw a lot of projects selling buzzword and promises, and I wanted to show that we currently have something which is working and which is the only decentralized, trustless and private marketplace in the world.
who's your closest competitor? Do you think?
Excuse me?
The most close competition to Open Bazaar?
Open Bazaar is not fully trustless, it's not private. For example, if you are not agree with the other party, you have a moderator. We can choose between the buyer and the seller who is right and who is wrong, and therefore he can potentially be corrupted. This is not fully trustless, and this is not private. And I think, I don't know if they fixed this problem, but the last time I did it, if you close your computer as this was not tokenized, the listing were not anymore online.
You mean because they have some sort of dispute mechanism? It requires a third party, a trusted person to resolve disputes?
Yes, because they are using multiple cryptocurrencies, and we are only using Particl. Even if you can swap your BTC against Particl, we are only using the Particl blockchain to use the Maestro smart contract and to use the privacy technology of Monero, which is ring signature.
So something like you're introducing a game theory to the escrow.
Yes.
It's because everybody, a participant have to say, okay, they have to measure the risks, right?
So what's the question?
It's not really a question. I'm thinking out loud. Sorry.
I suppose you could put some currency up for sale itself on there, or cryptocurrency. People could transact currency on the Particl platform.
Yes, I already saw this. I saw someone which were selling some bitcoins in the Paticl Marketplace.
Yeah.
Instead of selling an item, he was just selling the 0.1 BTC, and the buyer sent to him his Bitcoin address, and he has put some part in the smart contract, and it worked like any other material goods.
Someone in America was selling dollar bills as well. They were posting dollar bills to people in America. I don't know if they sold any, but there was a listing for it.
Sure.
Yeah, what seems
I was
interesting
thinking
about
cryptocurrency
it is
more.
that you can launch your own market basically and sell amongst your friends and grow your network of people that you're dealing with. And then depending, like you can keep it if you're depending on what you're selling and how many customers you need and how many people you want to market your product at, you know, I mean, like you really, if it could be either direct between buyer and seller, or you can advertise as a market. There's all sorts of markets that seem to be possible to create within this infrastructure.
Yes, you can create and promote your own marketplace where only you will be able to post listings.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got some anonymity features in it, but how can I obtain this anonymously?
Obtain what?
The coin.
Token, the passport.
Oh,
Parts. Because right now it's only for sale on exchanges.
like this. So it should be on mainnet at the end of the month. There is no KYC needed. You just need to add the bot in the bot management, and just here to enter how much part you want to send the BTC.
Oh, but you need
And
BTC.
Then you will receive the Particl.
You need BTC.
Yes.
And then again, you need KYC to get the BTC.
Yes, but
I think some cash points don't do KYC, if you really want to go that route. KYC and
Yeah,
AML
just-
is only
just say, like,
required.
you-
KYC and AML is only required under international law at amounts above $6,000. So if you're transacting below that, you can avoid AML KYC. That's how the law's laid out.
what you can do is first buy some BTC, and then to buy some parts without KYC, and when you get your part, you send them to your anon balance. It will use real signature transaction, and it will and this part won't have any traceability on the Particl blockchain. So this is how you can buy some Particl anonymously.
Because you said that the system sort of depends on Monero, because Monero provides the ability to do the ring signature.
It's our own implementation of ring signature. It's not just a very past of Monero. It has been audited 3 times by 3 different entities. Yes.
What's next? What's your next step?
The mobile app, I think, would be the next step, and
How about marketing?
also make everything more user friendly, because as you see, you need to first convert your part in your public balance to your non-balance before being able to buy or to accept the bid. There are still some things to improve, but it's a fully working product.
What's the turnover? How many, you say it working, how much sales have you done? Like, what is the monthly or annual turnover?
I can
this year?
answer that, maybe.
In fact, when you buy something on the marketplace, there is a ring city transaction before the MAD escrow and after the MAD escrow. So you cannot exactly know.
You can't know because it's decentralised how much business it's doing then.
Yes.
Right, okay. So it was a silly question actually.
Eventually, you can count on the blockchain the number of multi-sigma escrow created, but it can be totally irregular.
I can give a bit more of an answer to that. One of the other developers I was talking to, you're probably not privy to this, he'd run a script to check the amount of contracts that have been made and released. And I think in the 4th week of operation, they'd hit over 100. So I mean, and they're classing this as alpha at this point. So,
Right.
And that's a month out of date now. So I don't know what the current count is.
What about like when you scale it up? Is there any technical reason why there be a problem with the speed of the network, or processing transactions or anything like that? Do you see any problems in scaling up?
I think that as we are not tokenized, we only have to handle our own community, and it's based on the Bitcoin code base. It means that we already have Segwit, we have the Lightning Network, and we don't have the same communities as Bitcoin. So I am.
And I guess there's not a whole blockchain to be updated simultaneously. The blockchain only actually needs to deal with the transaction between the buyer and the seller at that one time. It could be updated later. Or no, it's got to communicate with the robot, the bot that you say. Like the transaction is logged, but does it have the same? Like it has to permeate through the whole network to be registered as a transaction. Is that not going to slow it down?
The bot that you saw is just a bot using the SMSG network, which is off-chain and which is communicating with Signal Swap. It's not.
So every transaction doesn't have to be spread right through the network in order for the transaction to actually complete.
The spreading through the network will be when that transaction is mined to a block, and that block is then propagated through the network. And the network mandates that when it gets, I think it's about 12 blocks deep, that it's locked in.
So it does need multiple confirmations.
Yeah, it needs to be buried 12 blocks deep. I mean, but your wallet registers, I think, on the first block, having played with this. But until that contract is complete, both parties have signed and it's locked, it doesn't get broadcast to the network. And only when it does get broadcast to the network is it mined to a block, then it needs to be 12 blocks deep and it's done.
So there is some sort of, like, if it scales up, there will be some problem with the propagation of the speed of propagation of sales across the network, because everything has to be 12 transactions deep or whatever in order to be processed.
That takes, that's about 24 minutes. I mean, there's an argument about bandwidth on Bitcoin, but it's to do with the fact that they won't allow a certain number of transactions. They only allow a certain number of transactions per block. I mean, I don't know about block size management in Particl, but the bandwidth, so to speak, the amount of transactions the network can deal with, will be down to the size of the individual blocks that are propagated on the network.
How about Particl's business model? Where do you get revenue from?
The seller, 0.5% the seller.
the business model is that for each item which is bought, 3 times the amount of the item is going to the smart contract. It means that the demand is going to reduce 3 times more the selling pressure, because it's going to contract some supply in the Madesco relatively to the demand. And we think it will be, with the adoption, beneficial for the price. And as there is near no fees on this platform, we think that we can offer some competitive gains and that it will attract demand. And this demand is going to contract the supply 3 times more than the demand which is going to be created. And as most of the Madesco are going to last during 2 weeks, it's the average time for Madesco to finish entirely the pay flow. We think that all this demand is going to create an exponential contraction of the supply in the Madesco. And the less there is an offer, and the more there is demand, the more it's beneficial for the price. And as you are stacking, your stacking becomes also more valuable.
Because I noticed that the buyer puts in 2 and the seller puts in 1, and the buyer gets 1 back and the seller gets 0.95 back or something like that, according to your slides.
Yes.
So the seller is actually paying 0.5% or something for the transaction?
Yes, there are some transaction fees.
And they are to the seller, yeah?
Well, I think it's.
They go to the nodes on the network who are staking.
Because did you notice that there was a difference, one paid in 1, one paid in 2,
yes,
and
yes,
you got
yes.
back 1.95 or 2.95?
Yes, because the seller creates the Madesco, therefore it's him who
Right,
pays
yeah,
the
right.
transaction fees
yeah.
for the Madesco.
There's also a listing fee.
Yeah, there's a fee for listing, but you can then off that listing you can sell an infinite number of times for the life of the listing.
Yes. Any other question?
Were you going to show us the demarkets thing? Because I think that's quite interesting.
Yes. On this website, demarkets.io, you can see all the listings which are currently on the marketplace. If you want to see what happened, and so you can see the stats with the listing evolution.